Hey guys, welcome to our Healthy for Life rapid fire team call. I'm so excited to see so many people on the call tonight, and we just keep adding them on. I love it. For those of you, there's people on the call I don't even know tonight, which is very exciting. I am your Star Diamond upline, Jenna DeStefano, and I'm so excited for you guys to be here tonight. When we came up with this idea in our leadership group about doing these rapid fire calls, we just kind of wanted something that would be fun. It would be different people every time we did the call, and it would be getting different tidbits from different coaches because let's face it, like no two coaching businesses are the same, right? And that's the cool thing about this. You do what you want, whatever works for you. So tonight we have 5 fabulous ladies, because it's a female-dominated business, sorry Josh, that are going to be on the call tonight sharing some great stuff with you about sharing your story. When I joined as a coach, there was I was so nervous because I didn't have any sales background. And I was like, oh no, I'm selling this product and I don't know anything about sales. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. And I'm sure you've even heard from like your customers and coaches, I'm not good at selling things. Like I can't tell you how many times I hear that quote from people. And I felt that way in the beginning too. But the cool thing about this business, as many of you know, is this is about sharing your story. This isn't about selling a product. Beachbody sells a product. We share a story. And we just connect people to Beachbody and their great products. So tonight we have asked 5 fabulous females on our team to share how they share their story, tips on how you can share yours so that you don't feel like you're selling, because let's face it, like selling is icky, it's uncomfortable, and it's not something we want to do, right? We just want to share. So they kind of like fought over each other about who was going to go first and last because of their nerves and all that good stuff. So I just gave them an order. And I reminded them that you guys love them and you're their fit family, and it's just like they're talking to their friends tonight. So some of these people, it's the first time they've ever spoke on a team call. So let's just make sure we give them a little extra love tonight. The first coach that we're going to go ahead and kick things off with is one of my personally sponsored coaches, and I just love her. She is the leader of our California branch, way over there across the country. She has been a coach since February of 2013 and has had an amazing journey during that time. And so I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Miss Diann LaFrance. And don't forget to unmute yourselves when you talk to speakers.
All right, I'm good. And you know what? You hear that? There's silence in the background. I requested to go first because it's 6 p.m. over here and I have a toddler who's about to go ballistic any second. So hopefully I can finish my little storytelling before he realizes that he's alone in the living room. So as Jenna said, my name is Diann, and I've been coaching for about 2.5, well, not 2.5, but 2+ years now. And Beachbody came to me at a time when I needed it most. I had been training a ton, but I hadn't seen the results I was looking for. I had a sweet tooth that I was really struggling to curb. Oh, he figured it out. And I have really high blood pressure. It runs in my family, so there was no surprise there, but it was steadily starting to rise, and it was starting to make me a little bit nervous. And I knew that I needed to start making some changes, but I hadn't been able to do it on my own. And I was looking to start a family. And one of the things that really scared me was having to be put on medication while I was pregnant. I was worried about gestational diabetes because I ate sugar like it was going out of style. And of course, my blood pressure was rising before I even had a kid. So I was nervous about that as well. And so when I found out about Shakeology, Jenna was posting on Facebook, and I was like, well, I need to try something. I was a little bit desperate. I mean, I was healthy otherwise, other than, the blood pressure and the sweet tooth problem. I had run a half marathon, but I still had about 10 pounds I wanted to lose. So I decided to take the plunge. I looked at the price tag and I was like, this is gonna be worth it. I need a change. I'm worth it. I'm just gonna take the plunge. So long story short, Shakeology did exactly what I was hoping it to do. It helped me curb my sweet tooth craving, which in turn helped me lose a little bit of weight that I was looking for. It also brought my blood pressure down. It stabilized my blood sugar. And as I was seeing these results, I realized that I couldn't keep this to myself. I struggle with nutrition. I'm very active, but I struggle with nutrition, especially sweets. And I knew so many people in my family who had the same struggles, who had the same family history of heart disease and blood pressure. And I was like, I can't keep something that's worked so well for me, that helped me have a healthy pregnancy and have a healthy baby boy, and not share these tools with my friends and family. So that's how I got into sharing about Shakeology and building my business, because I saw amazing results and I couldn't keep it a secret. I wasn't trying to sell anyone anything. I was just saying, hey, if you're struggling like me and you're needing a little extra boost or you need a tool, this worked for me. So Jenna asked us to share 3 different ways that we share through social media. And so one of the ways that I share is I share my struggles. I have a Facebook like page, and I tell people, what's not going well. I struggle with nutrition. That's not a lie. Like, even though I'm on Shakeology and I've done a lot of great things, I still eat pints of Ben and Jerry's on occasion. This morning I did a workout. I did Insanity Max 30. And I didn't have a max out time because, to be honest, I never really got started. It took me 45 minutes to do a 30-minute workout because my toddler kept interrupting me. But that's a struggle that anyone who has a toddler can relate to. So I posted about it and I said, hey, it took me 45 minutes to do a 30-minute workout today. I'm awesome because I got it done anyways. So that's one way I share. I share my struggles. The other way I share is I ask questions. I ask what's working for other people. I ask what's troubling other people. I try to get information that might help me share and relate to other people. So if I know that other people are struggling with their nutrition, I'm going to share more about nutrition. If I know more people, like a lot of my friends now have toddlers because I've started connecting with a lot of moms, I'm going to start sharing more about my struggles with trying to get a workout in and helping my toddler eat healthy, because that's what people need help with. And the third thing that I do to help share my story is that I create really good content on my blog. So I struggle with nutrition. I find recipes that I really like, things that can fit into the 21-day fix, because that's a huge thing. A lot of moms are really into the 21-day fix. I'm not so much into it, but I find recipes that fit into the 21-day fix, and I share those on my blog. I share my workout struggles on my blog. I'm a runner, so I share a lot of my training on my blog, and it's just on the website. And so then when I'm just on Facebook doing my things just for me, I have several Facebook groups that I belong to. I'm sure all of you have Facebook groups that you belong to, a bunch of running groups, a bunch of mom groups. Things will come up like, hey, I have this beef and I want to do a slow cooker recipe. Do you have any ideas, moms? And then I go to my website, I find the link of my awesome beef slow cooker recipe, and I say, yeah, I had this last week, try it out. So I just sent them a link to my website sharing an awesome recipe. And so if they click on that recipe, they're going to see a little about me. They're going to see other posts that I have on my blog, on my website, and they're going to know that I'm a Beachbody coach without me saying, hey, I'm a Beachbody coach, get the 21-day fix for me. So just a subtle little way, and if you keep starting doing that, I'm in a lot of running groups, and we're having a race that comes up, so people are asking about hydration, people are asking about how they're going to carry their phone with them on their run, and I have reviews of products that I've tried that worked for me or didn't work for me. Same thing, someone asks the question, I can just throw up a link and say, hey, I did a review on the Buddy Pouch right here, check it out. So those are my 3 things that I do to share without selling. I share my struggles because that's what makes us relatable and real. I ask questions to get people engaged, and so I can find out what the people I'm connecting with want to hear. And I have amazing content on my blog that I can link back to so that people have a resource to come to, and they think of me when they think about getting healthy and fit. I did it, and the toddler is still watching Thomas the Tank Engine. Woohoo!
You should go take a nap or something now, right?
I know, I should.
Oh, that's so good. Thank you so much, Diane. I think I know that I got a lot of good stuff right from there, and it was so simple. And I did tell everyone tonight to pick 3 things that they feel like really helps them share their stories, so that you guys that are taking notes have just this really quick reference to come right back to, and that was fabulous. And I can see the other speakers, they were like you went first, so you probably took some of theirs, which is kind of fun. But I think that that's perfect. So, and I specifically picked the speakers that we have on this call tonight because if you go look at their Facebook pages, they are sharing their story, and they're very good at it. So thank you so much, Diane. Next up, we have a wonderful Emerald coach. She is in the Healthy4Lyfe downline, and she has been a coach since, I took notes, clearly, can you guys tell? She has been a coach since June of 2014, and I would love to welcome on our call tonight, Miss Jenny.
Hi.
Hi, Jenny.
Um, First, Diann, thanks because I've been wanting to get into running, so I will be getting with you on some tips on getting started with that. So thank you. Like Jenna said, I've been a coach since June. Um, I was totally new to Beachbody. I started in April with the 21-day fix. Let me just go back and run through my story real quick. I am now 40 years old, so I guess I am the oldest one on the call, probably. I have a 6-year-old granddaughter and a 1-year-old granddaughter, and last year, around like March, maybe even February, I was 215 to 218 pounds. My granddaughter told me one day that I was not normal and that I did not fit in the family because I was fat. So that kind of hit home with me. I do have 2 grown children, so they'd really never said anything like that to me. So when my granddaughter did, it kind of really hurt. That made me, want to do something, but at the time I didn't really know what to do, and I wasn't really in the right place to do anything. So through Facebook, a friend of mine had been on there talking about the 21-day fix and how she loved it and everything like that. So I reached out to her and I bought the program. Then I got into the Shakeology like a month later. In June, she asked me if I wanted to be a discount coach. So I signed under her, and I didn't really have the support from her. Not saying she's a bad person or anything like that. I didn't have the support that I'm hoping to give my coaches under me and my customers under me. So I turned to, well, actually Emily reached out to me and she kind of took me under her wing, which was a saving grace. She taught me to, reach out to people and share my story and, got me in some trainings. I became Emerald, I don't even think 2 months into it. But that was because of sharing my story with my coworkers. My husband and granddaughter are kind of in the background doing things and they're distracting me. I guess getting into the whole Beachbody thing kind of saved my life. And I am currently down to a size 8. I started in a size 18. I'm down to a size 8. And I now weigh 166. So I have lost over 46 pounds, 40 some pounds, in a year. I have not been a coach yet a year, but I will be Diamond by June. So I guess the importance of my story and sharing my story is I try to relate to people or have people relate to me. I am older, not that much older, but I am older. So there's a lot of people at my job or, mutual friends of my husband's and mine that are in my age group. And even though they're not overweight, I try to reach out to them and tell them my story because I want them to know about high blood pressure or, heart attacks and things like that. The older you get, even though you've lived a healthy life your whole life, age plays a big factor on things. So if they get into the Shakeology and I share my story enough with them about the Shakeology and how I love it, then I'm hoping to save one life. Another thing I focus on and try to share is like my newfound friends. Brittany Schatzer and I, we go on Saturdays and get together. And if people can relate to that and know that getting healthy and drinking your Shakeology and being part of Beachbody, you have all these new friends and you have a new family. And I think once a day or every other day, give a shout out to my Beachbody family and how much I love them and how much they're helping me get through. And you don't have to do this alone. So even for those that don't have a family that support them, you have your fit family. And my fit family has grown, enormously. And my other friends who I thought were my friends kind of are in the background now. And So I think that's a big thing that I like to share with people is you don't have to do this alone. I don't have a sales background. So when I first started, I was under the impression that I had to sell, and I was posting, about the prices and stuff like that. I got nowhere at all with it. So thank God, I think it was Jenna on a call one time said, don't be salesy. Make sure you're sharing your story. So I guess that's another thing is my grandkids. My grandkids are my life. So if you don't like kids, don't look at my page because my grandkids are all over it. We do things. My oldest granddaughter, she wants to be Autumn when she grows up because she does the 21-day fix with me. She's my biggest cheerleader. And I guess I just kind of like push the grandkid thing because I am older and I want people to know that no matter how old you are or if you're a grandmother or great grandmother, you're never too old to do this. So that's my sharing.
Thank you so much, Jenny. I think Jenny made a good point tonight, guys, too. First of all, let me tell you, I have a coach on our team that's 68 years old. So she, I think, rules out maybe the oldest coach on our team. So you're just a young thing, Jenny.
Oh, yeah. Compared to that, yes.
So a cool thing that Jenny said tonight was she talked about her age, right, guys? So you might be, like for me, for example, I'm 27 years old. So I have a lot more of a difficult time trying to relate to somebody that's in their 40s and to attract those type of people. But if I come in contact with someone that is in their 40s, I don't tell them my story, I tell them Jenny's story, because that's somebody that your new customer could relate to so much better than a 27-year-old that doesn't have grandkids. You know what I mean? So think of that tonight when you're listening to these people's stories too, because we don't just tell our story, we share everyone on our teams, and every person on this team could relate to one of our potential customers. So another great reason to get to know your fit family too. So that was my fun fact there. Next up on our call, we have another fabulous for life coach on our call tonight. And I know she's nervous because I just know her. The lovely Shelby is going to be on the call tonight. She joined Beachbody in June of 2013 and hung out for a while. I remember that. And just recently has just taken off with her business, and I'm sure that that's attributed to her lovely coach, Emily. So welcome to our call tonight, Shelby.
Hello, everybody. Now that I think everything I was going to say has been talked about, I'm going to try to change it up a little bit. Like Jenna said, I started in 2013. I actually signed as a coach. Only wanted to be a discount. That's all I wanted to do. I'd been doing Beachbody since, I guess, 2009. So I knew what I was doing. I knew the programs. I knew everything. And then Emily just came up on her Facebook. I think it was like her first day being a coach or something. She was like, hey, I just drank Shakeology. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I was interested. So she signed me as a coach that day. Like, she didn't even have to try. But I chilled for a while, and then I decided I was just going to take a chance, and it just felt right from God and from everybody, and I kind of got a push. So started February, I guess, is when I really started coaching this year. I guess these are kind of mentalities I have that I'm going to be talking about tonight. Or I guess they could be considered traits. But my number one thing is I hate salesmen. If I go into a store and somebody comes up and asks me more than one time if I need help, I'm out of the store because I don't want to be bothered. And I've stayed away from every other possible thing because of that. I do not like being bothered. If I want something, I'm going to come to you. So, me having that mentality. Beachbody was definitely something different for me because I was able to learn how to motivate others and make a little bit of side money without being salesy. The first question I ask myself when I'm posting something is it salesy? Because if something is salesy, I know I wouldn't look at it. And if I know I'm not going to look at a post, or if it's not going to get me interested, why is it going to get somebody else interested? Number 2, I am completely real. You go to my Facebook right now, you're going to see that for my birthday, I had cinnamon rolls. You're going to see that I have been craving my Dunkin' Donuts. And you're going to see that there's probably about 5 other unhealthy things I've had lately. My journey is good and bad. My journey takes me places I didn't expect. Sometimes I don't do workouts. Sometimes I'm not proud of it, but at the end of the day, it's my journey and I'm learning from it. And people want to know about your journey, and they want to know that they aren't the only ones that didn't feel like getting out of bed in the morning. I wanted to lay with my husband for an extra 30 minutes in the morning, so I did. I might have put a workout on later. I might not have. But people just want to know that they are not the only one out there going through the same thing. Yeah, I'm making this really quick, apparently. And my last thing is that I really focus on the motivation. I was a very negative person. When I was younger, I had a lot of emotional problems. I probably dealt with depression. I didn't know it because my mom was depressed. And I just thought it was normal to lay in bed all day. I thought it was normal to be unhappy. So I grew up just being depressed and not realizing it and eating a lot of my emotions. And sorry, babe, am I talking loud? And I lost my train of thought now. My size reflected that. And I was always being bullied because I was that mean person, because I put that wall up. And I was a bad person at work. I wasn't the best person. And then I started with Emily and I switched around. I've gotten happier. My mentality's changed. I don't put people down anymore. I push them up because that looks better on me, and that's making me a happier person. And the second I really felt like I was getting somewhere is when I started putting motivation onto my page. Even if it's relating to how I feel that day, if I'm unhappy, then I post something about being happy. If I am hurting, then I post something about how I'm going to praise God through the storm. I'm learning to flip it around, because when I post something positive, then not only do I feel better, but I know that there are probably about 5 other people out there that are going to feel better, and they're going to remember that. Whenever I was trying to figure out what I was going to say, I went to my biggest critic, who is my sister, and I asked her why she signed under me. Because to an extent, I didn't know. I was like, why do you even trust me? I've barely been in this. I don't really know what I'm doing coaching-wise or anything. And what she said was, you posted your Shakeology every day. You posted when you didn't work out, and you posted when you did work out. You posted about how, let me grab it here. And I lost it. I'm sorry. She said that I made it personal. She has little Hayden. I'm sure you guys have seen pictures of him. And I told her, you want to do this for Hayden. You want to do this for your little boy. You want to be able to run around with him. You want to feel better about yourself. And that really hit home with her, because I made it about her. It wasn't about me. It wasn't about what I was going to get from it. It wasn't about any of that. It was all about her. And I think that has gotten me to the point that it has. And I think I'm done, guys. I was very nervous, so sorry about that.
No, you're fine, Shelby. Hey, I have a quick question for you while you're figuring out what you want to say. Shelby, you are a really active coach recently. You've been more active really recently. So what do you think for you was like the game changer to go from just kind of like hanging out in the business and enjoying the discount to actually actively working the business?
There was just a point where I was like, okay, God, well, if this is going to happen, then we're going to make it happen. And I told Emily, I was like, I'm just going to go for it. And I think a week later, I had 3 coaches within one day. signed and I went to Emerald, and it's just been going ever since.
Yeah.
I did start tithing the beginning of the year, so I think that really helped us a lot.
Yeah, I think that's really, I already knew this about you, so I purposely brought it up on the call because I think it's important to you guys to realize, like, when you're a coach and you add other coaches to your team like that, just because you do that, I mean, you automatically become a leader. But a lot of us aren't really ready to be leaders. We've never been in that role before. So I think, and Emily, I'm going to use you as the example here. Emily really stepped up when it came to Shelby, because Shelby had just been floating along for a while. And I noticed, and JP actually just posted it in the chat below, when you guys started working out together, like that was, and posting your accountability, like that was Emily reaching down and pulling you up. And that is what we do as coaches. That was a perfect example of that. So I want you guys to remember that too. Like, granted, it's great to have customers and they're a lot of fun and we get to change lives, but your coaches need that same accountability that you're giving your customers too. So that was a great example of that. And now Shelby's on fire. So, and on our call tonight too. So thank you so much, Shelby.
She did. I messaged her and I actually said, I feel really miserable. I've been eating unhealthy. And she said, okay, then we're going to be accountability partners. Be ready. You're posting your pictures to me and your workouts.
Nice.
And yeah, that's how it went. So.
Very cool. Thank you, Shelby.
Thank you.
All right. Next up on our call tonight is another one of my personally sponsored coaches. She has been a coach since, I should know that off the top of my head, since September of 2014. She is a mom of some adorable little men, and her husband is just wonderful because he came and helped me at my house today, and I love him for that. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you guys to Megan Dewese. As soon as she unmutes herself.
Hear me? Yeah, sorry.
Hi.
Okay. All right. So, like Jenna said, I'm Megan, and I have been a coach since September. And I originally joined because I had just had little man number 3. So, like, the only way to describe my life was complete chaos because I woke up in the morning and I got the 2 older ones ready who are only 18 months apart as it is. So they keep me very busy. And then I had my little man, and I was finding that I had no time for myself. And that was like an understatement. Like, I would realize at 11:30, I had never even had a drink of water yet today. So that needed to change. And I knew that needed to change because I really wanted to have a good nursing relationship with my youngest. And for moms who have done it, they'll understand. And for people who haven't ever done it, nutrition is a huge part of that because you need to have enough calories. So I literally emailed Jenna in the middle of the night when my only free time occurs at 12:30 in the morning. And I said, I need Shakeology. And she said, well, what about the 21-day fix? And I said, yep, sounds great. And I tried it and I failed. I did great my first week, and then I just lost it because we had some medical issues with our youngest son. And life happened, and I couldn't do it. It wasn't feasible for me at the time. To be honest, I don't think I could eat enough of those containers. As all of you know who've done it, you're not starving yourself. It's really hard to keep up with eating enough almost. So since then, Shakeology is still a part of my life. I don't think Shakeology is ever going to not be a part of my life. I feel like it's a family member now. It is what it is. It's part of us, and that's not an option. But I do struggle with working out, and that has always been a struggle of mine. And I feel like even if I became the world's best coach, I would still struggle with working out. So, everybody who knows me personally knows that nutrition is a really important thing to me. I've never had too much trouble with that, at least not in the last couple of years. I find it really important to be eating fresh foods. And so it was so natural for Shakeology to be a part of my life. And I felt like I could relate to a lot of moms, of course, but something that kind of sets me apart from other moms is that I lost my dad at only 22. And so not everybody has been through that. And even my mom still has her dad. So that's something that she can't understand. Losing a parent is one of the hardest things I've ever been through. But it really made me look at what I want for my own children, because I want to be there for them. So I knew that something had to happen, because I don't want to die at 46. And regardless of what I eat and regardless of how much I work out, ultimately that decision is not up to me. But I need to do what I can to make sure that as long as I'm not hit by a bus, I will be alive. So that's really where, Beachbody has come into my life. But it's crazy because when people ask me about Beachbody, health and fitness is actually never the first thing I talk about. It's always about what Beachbody has given me as far as personal development, the encouragement, the positivity. It's so amazing to be surrounded by like-minded people who don't wake up complaining every day that life sucks and I'm fat, but I don't understand why, because I only went through the drive-through twice, not 3 times. This doesn't make any sense. I mean, after a while, it just brings everybody down. And to be able to wake up and know every day that at least the first 6 posts in my newsfeed are going to be people drinking Shakeology. So I'm like, oh, got to do that. And to know that it's somebody going to be posting something positive, or even if it's negative, saying, hey, it happens, we move on, is nice to not dwell on things. So Beachbody really, it's crazy to think it came to me at just the right time, even though I didn't know I needed it. I needed it because I needed somebody to push me and say, okay, go help people. No matter how you have to do it, just go help people. And so one of my coaches actually was just recently saying to me, I'm not good at selling. That's you. And I'm like, oh, I'm not good at selling. I don't sell. I just kind of tell people like, hey, try it. Because in my eyes, you can't sell it anyway. Nobody ever has money. Even if you told Donald Trump, I feel like for some reason he has the excuse that he just cannot afford Shakeology. To me, I'm like, no. You can't afford not to have Shakeology, because most of the time what I tell people, the way for me to not get angry about it almost is to just take the approach, could you pay $15 for a copay to your doctor 3 times this month? Okay, you can afford Shakeology, I promise you, because all you have to do is not go through McDonald's, skip on the hash brown, and you eat better now, and you're going to save money in the long run. I think if anything, the insurance companies probably hate Beachbody because we are taking their business big time. People are not going to be ill at the doctors all the time if they're doing the right thing. And that's where my heart is. As much as I love medicine, I don't love medicine. I want everybody to be healthy without putting junk and chemicals in their body. So basically, I go out and I say that all the time, to the point where people look at me and ask me, is it okay if your kids eat this? And I'm like, yeah, I'm not that crazy person. I mean, they can sometimes. We just watch because we want them to grow up and be our little promoters too. So I really don't ever push anything on anybody. I just really make it a point to tell everybody how important it is to have your health in check, because if not, you could be the next person laying in the hospital with coronary artery disease or diabetes, and you're going to lose your leg. And all these things are preventable, but you have to take the measures now so that you're not there later. So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
I have to tell you, during you talking, I got 3 messages that popped up on my Facebook that said, I love her. Because
Well, thanks.
no, Megan, it's a testimony to you and what you do. Megan, from the day that her and I started talking about this, she's been very passionate about health and fitness, and you guys all got that just from listening to her talk here on this call for 2 minutes. So if it's a customer that's talking to her for 30 minutes, what do you think they're going to walk away with? You know, it's very genuine, it's very authentic, and your why is unbelievable, you know, and that we could all feel on this call tonight. So that was a great training lesson on sharing your story, everyone. Thank you so much for that, Megan.
Thank you.
All right. So I will not say I saved the best for last because I would totally discount the other 4 coaches, but I am a big fan of this last coach tonight because she has got more energy than like anyone I know, and I'm not really sure how that's even possible. But our coach tonight is one of Caitlin Bear's personally sponsored coaches. She's been a coach since August of 2014 and is just so close to Diamond. And I am so excited to have her on the call tonight. So welcome to the call, Kristen.
Thank you. Hi, I gotta unmute there. Well, thank you very much. I'm excited to share with you guys. So I'm gonna share obviously a little bit about my story, but this is really gonna also share a little bit of Caitlin's story, because I wanna talk a little bit about how I, how she sold me by sharing her story. So first, just a little bit about me and like going back to where I was before I started with Beachbody. I am a mom of 2 little kids. I'm a working mom. I'm a busy mom. I'm a, Jenna said I have a lot of energy. I need it. I'm one to tend to kind of take it all on. So my days were very busy. I work a stressful job, and as a social worker. And so I was in a spot where I was carting my kids to do 2 different places, going to work and hearing yucky stuff and other people's troubles all day, coming home, being tired, being stressed, being impatient with my kids, gaining weight, not being in my fitness routine that I was in before having kids, and just feeling totally detached from the life that I used to have and just the active life that I wanted. So that's kind of where I was. I knew I needed to do something. I had my awesome elliptical in the basement that had dust on it, and that I would go downstairs and do my very unsuccessful workouts on, and very lazy. And I saw some things about insanity, and but for me, my excuses, the workouts were too long. I thought they would be too hard. I was intimidated by it. And that was about the time where I got my first message from Caitlin. Caitlin and I work in the same office. And I got my first Facebook message from her. She shared her story with me about her successes with the Ultimate Reset and the things that were happening for her. And I read her message. I thought it was great. And I ignored her. I did not respond. I did not acknowledge. I read the message and I moved on. But little did she know, until, months down the line, I was watching. So I read her message, I ignored it, and I started watching her. And she was sharing every day. She was sharing her workout videos. She was sharing her Shakeology, just talking about what she was doing and sharing all the highlights of how Beachbody was improving her life. So I was seeing all those things. I was clicking the like button, just kind of going about my business and still kind of getting nowhere on my front. But I was watching. And so probably a few months down the line, I'm in my basement doing my, excuse the language, half-assed workout on my elliptical once again, watching some, I don't know, news channel or something, and I saw the infomercial for T25. So I'm watching this infomercial. I'm kind of mesmerized by the whole idea. It's the whole, it's insanity, but it's only 25 minutes. Anybody can do that. And So I was pretty much sold. I remember going upstairs and saying, I'm doing this. Like I told my husband, I have to get my hands on T25. And what got me too, though, is not just somebody putting a commercial on a screen with a product and a price tag. With infomercials come people sharing their testimonials. And so there are people talking on there and telling me what it did for them and how they fitted into their busy life and all the results they got. So again, somebody shared something with me that meant a lot. Much to Caitlin's demise, I still didn't jump on. I was too cheap and I wasn't ready, right? So I got myself a great burned copy. I'm keeping it real here. And I started T25, okay? And so I committed to it. Every morning I was down here, I was bouncing around, doing my thing to my really horrible copies. But one thing Caitlin did, again, months later, she must have got word and she probably wanted to, snack me. But she got wind that I was doing T25. So she shoots me a message. Hey, how are you? Like, how do you like T25? And I'm like, oh, I didn't know she knew I was doing that. So, so she connected with me again. And we chatted a little bit and I kept going on my little path with my crappy CDs. And, but I kept watching her and I kept seeing and she kept sharing and she was consistent. And then I started Shakeology. But once again, I was not all the way there. So I was finding Shakeology in all the wrong places and on Craigslist and what have you. Because I was ready to get there, but not ready to commit. So that's how I started with things. And I saw my results skyrocket. I was still watching Caitlin and she was still inspiring me. And then I found myself basically obsessed with trying to find Shakeology. And it kind of dawned on me, why am I doing this the wrong way? Why don't I do this the right way? And that's where, again, that, just with Caitlin sharing her story and continuing to be consistent, I knew where to go. And I knew that I was ready to commit fully and to do it the right way and to get the support. And one of the biggest things that drew me in as well and got me to finally commit to Beachbody as a whole and to join was the networking that I missed. So I used to go to the gym. I had my little buddies. I could talk to them about our workouts. We could do it together. And I didn't have that. I could follow Caitlin and I could watch her do hers, but I didn't have the connection that I really wanted. So for me, that was a huge desire and something that has definitely been fulfilled above and beyond by me joining. So I decided I was going to join, and even just sharing that, I had all of a sudden had people, family members that wanted to join as well. So that's kind of my story a little bit, and how sharing drew me in. And I found something, like I said, that I could relate to Caitlin. I mean, like I said, we work in the same office, so I can relate to her as a social worker. I can relate to the busy life. I can relate to the stress of it. And I could relate to how Beachbody was helping her manage all of those things. And could see that what she had was something I wanted with the network and the fit family that Beachbody brings. So with that, I'll get into my little tips. So like some of the little silly sayings or what have you, but first that comes to my mind is just that sharing is caring. And when you care and focus on helping others, then people will come to join you because they will see that. So just showing that you care. The first thing, and this is something that I have seen in a lot of the team calls and trainings, is just the idea of sharing different aspects of your life. And that's something that I really try to do. And And that, I think, broadens the horizon of people that will then be connected to me. So finding a few different things that define you. So I talked about being a mom of young kids, being a working mom, being a social worker. I have a big family, so family is important to me. So just picking those different things and focusing and sharing all those different aspects of your life. And when I do that, I find that you connect with people in different ways. So some people might connect with me because I'm a social worker. Some people might connect with me because I share about being a mom with young kids or being a working mom. So I find that sharing all those different aspects of your life and who you are helps draw in other people to you. And also I thought about sharing the products by sharing what they do for you. So you're not just putting out there like, hey, I've got Shakeology, but I'm putting, I drink Shakeology every day, and these are all the benefits that I have. So instead of, sharing the product, but by sharing what it does for you. And then I think this has been mentioned, but just sharing successes, sharing your struggles, keeping it real for everybody, because that's what they can relate to. And one thing is through the shout outs and things like that. So sharing your story, and like Jenna just said, when you don't have a story that relates directly to a person, sharing a shout out and a story of somebody else. So those are my tips. I think that's it.
That's great, Kristen. My question for you is how long from the time you decided to start getting like stuff, we'll call it the black market for lack of a better term, how long between the first message that Caitlin sent you until the time you actually started working with Caitlin? How long was that?
Oh my gosh. Okay. I guess June, July, like 3 full months. So I started, I think it might have been a little before that. I started T25 in June and I signed at the end of August. But I may have been working on my black market deals before that.
Which is good. So that right there, guys, is a testament to you just reach out and you continue planting seeds and you continue reaching out. And Kristen, you said it best. Like, she watched Caitlin. Like, there's so many of you right now that are on your journey and people are just sitting and watching. Like, they aren't ready yet because you remind them of something that they're not comfortable to commit to yet for themselves, but they're watching you and they want to see you succeed. A lot of people say people want to see you fail, but more so people want to see you do it, because that gives them that little tiny kernel of hope that says, if she can do it or he can do it, I can do it too. And so I think that like your story just explains that. Sometimes people just have to watch it and see it happen before they're ready to commit. And it's when it's the right time for you, right, guys? I mean, there's many of you on this call tonight that, if this would have come into your life 2 years ago, you wouldn't have been ready, or 3 years ago, you wouldn't have been ready, right? And so it all happens in your own time, which I think is such a good point to make tonight as well, about sharing your story and just continuing to share your story, because it's going to come into someone's life at the right time when they need to hear it. So thank you so much for joining us on the call, Kristen. I appreciate that. So does anyone have any questions for any of the speakers tonight? Any questions in general about sharing your story or avoiding selling, anything like that, before we wrap up here? And you can post it in the comments below, or you can just unmute yourself and ask. That's fine. Don't be shy. We're all family here.
Can I just share something real quick?
Of course you can, Chelsea. Hi.
Hi. My boyfriend's mom in November was put on blood pressure medicine because it was so ridiculously high. Like, her doctor had to talk to her about like the risk of having a stroke. Like, it was that bad. And she just went back this past week and they took her off her blood pressure medicine, and the doctor was so amazed with like all of her results, and she's like, what have you been doing? And she just told her about like Shakeology and how much like it has changed and made a difference. So like the doctor was like amazed by all the results she had just gotten from drinking Shakeology.
Oh, that's
I had to
awesome.
share that because you guys were talking about like blood pressure and stuff. So
Yeah, and that's awesome too, because that's another story that you can share with people. Again, in your age bracket that you couldn't necessarily relate to. Now you have that story too, which is so awesome.
yeah.
I mean, our team is so full of awesome stories like that, which is great. So thank you for adding that tonight. Like, what a fun thing to end on. Thank you guys so much for jumping on the call tonight. It ran a little long, but we didn't lose any attendance from that. And I think because of all the great value and content that was added to everyone tonight. Before we get off the call, I want to take a picture because I forgot last time, and this gives everyone a chance to do whatever it is that they got to do so that they can get the way they got to look. Yeah, look, Josh is over there making sure his shirt looks right. But I want to get a cute picture that I can print screen here and share. I'll share it in the team page for you guys to share what you did tonight, because I felt like this was a really valuable call. And again, it's another way to share what you're doing and to share your story. I mean, I don't know where everyone's located right now, but we're not all in the same state. We're all over the place. We're in different time zones, and we still sat here tonight and we learned from each other. And that's the coolest thing about this business. So I'm going to stop running my mouth and take the picture so that everyone can smile and look pretty. Okay, so I'll count to 3, and then you smile. Nothing's going to happen on your end, but I can assure you there will be a picture. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm not going to do another one because then it'll erase the first one. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us on the call tonight. I just want to remind you that each and every one of you adds so much value to this team, and you're so good at changing lives by sharing your story. And by just doing that, you're going to change your own life too. And I'm so grateful for all of you. And I wish you a great night and an awesome week. Have a good one, guys.